Let's make it clear, the community sports show brings us the cheer. Batting, bowling, and fielding with flair. Each game is a story for the players out there. Riding the highs, embracing the lows. With passion and pride, that's how this game flows. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain, and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Breakdown of the action, listen to the crowd. Cheers for the wicked, oh, they're screaming loud. Cricket's not just a game, it's a sight to behold. Stories of legends, both young and the old. No matter the grade, we cover it all. With every wicket taken, we rise and we fall. Across the grounds of Perth, we gather and share memories of triumph, skill, and the players' great flair. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing the magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain, and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Together we rise, united and strong. With every strap pulled tight, we all sing along. Commentary electric with stories that soar. This week's highlights leave us hungry for more. Catching every moment, we live for the fight. Every player's battle, our hearts feel it rise. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain, and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. So tune in each Friday, don't miss the show. For all that's exciting, the hype and the glow. Thanks to the sponsors who believe in the game. Your support and pride have earned you the fame. To Perth and beyond, we're proud to declare the PSCA Review Show is tops everywhere. With bats and with balls, we're ready to roll. Join in the action, come and feel the soul. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain, and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek.
Dun 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 dun. G'day everyone, g'day one and all. Welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are across the globe. You're here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live for week 19. Despite what you saw on the intro page, it is week 19 of the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. And boy, what a lot we've got to get through. Just 1 week tomorrow for the regular season, and then it is done and dusted. And we have had news that it is going to be a heat policy day, and I'm waiting on news from a couple of PSCA sources around timings and things like that. So be sure to stay with me throughout the night, and a big welcome wherever you are. Of course, not just Intersport Slater Gartrell, but this broadcast also brought to you thanks to our platinum sponsors, ID Athletic and Vision Decor, for all your promotional merchandise and sporting apparel. ID Athletic can help you and your club build your identity, while Vision Decor, they've done the floor here in the studio, and they've done the blinds here at the house. So I don't just take their money, I use their products, and I cannot recommend them, both of them, enough. Alright, well, welcome to you. If you're a first time viewer, welcome to the show. It is the Perth Swan Cricket Association review show, where we go through every game of every grade every single week. And I want to give a shout out to those clubs who have shared, who have done a bit of a promotion for us. We are actually exceptionally knocking it out of the park this year on the review show, and that's all thanks to you and our sponsors with their prizes and donations. All right, before we get into it, just a couple of quick shout outs here. I do want to acknowledge, I did say we'd have Maylands here. Unfortunately, the Maylands contact was unwell enough not to be able to make it in here. So again, it's just me, but I proved last week I can talk as much as two people. So let's get on with it. Also last week, I'm going to do the same again this week. Last week I went around to a few grounds and sort of pressed the flesh, so to speak, and said g'day and gave out a few prizes. A big shout out to everyone I saw. It was nice to put some faces to the names that I mention here every week. So it was great to catch up with you, and I'll be out and about doing that again tomorrow at a few different clubs. So I'll see you around, hopefully. Now, I'm going to do this in two parts. It's actually, we'll get the awards and recognitions out the way. Couple of 250s last week. Courtney Wilson for Ascot getting chairlifted off. We didn't get the video, unfortunately, Courtney, but well done to you. And this week, Steve Paternostro of West Coast brings up his 250th game for the club. Both important milestones. Now, this is the part, we posted it on our page this morning. Unfortunately, we've heard and obviously saw the passing of Uncle Clinton Dan, a well-respected Aboriginal Noongar man here in Perth who has been involved in the sport he loves for a very long time, and over the last few years driving a promotion around an initiative that we here in the Perth Swans support, and we'd love to see get supported at the WA cricket at the national level, and even one day dare to dream at an international level where Uncle Clinton Dan and a group of artists decorating a stump in traditional artwork relative to the local area and the stories there. May his legacy, and I'm sure it will, may his legacy continue to shine a light for those out there. Our thoughts go to the family, friends, and everyone who knew him, because lots of people on the post today acknowledging and expressing their condolences. So, never good. And don't panic, the audio is still working. That was just me paying a little bit of respect to Uncle Clint there. All right, now, I mentioned the heat policy is in force. This is going to be a topic of discussion here tonight. It's going to potentially have some impacts, because as of just an hour or hour and a half ago, the association posted that with the forecast sitting at 41 degrees for tomorrow at Perth Airport, according to the Bureau of Meteorology, the following changes will apply. So one-dayers will become 25 overs per side, with a maximum of 5 overs per bowler. Drinks break halfway through the 25 there, or 45 minutes, and field restriction changes as well, reduced accordingly. And interestingly, we had this conversation at Middle Swan last night. The match can be called if both captains agreed once the game score has been passed and there's a result. In the 2 days, just before we look at the 2 days, I'll actually just get rid of that there. As we have a look at the 2 days, the effects there. Oh, hang on, Noel, where are you going? Sees standard heat policy applies, so that'll be drinks every 45 minutes. And again, similar to the one-dayers, there will be an option for the 2-day sides to call the game after the score has been passed. However, both captains must agree, because of course bonus points up on the table for the winners. So they may have an impact, and we'll have a look at that now as we get underway. And before I go, just a little acknowledgement. We've only got a couple of weeks left for you all to get these. So Joey's Swan Valley Diner, drop a comment in there. Just say g'day in the comments there, and I'll give away a couple, two. I'll give two away at the end of the show for people that say g'day. Let us know where you're watching from, which club you're with. Always good to reward those who are a part of our show. All right, let's get into it. First grade, it was day one of 2 days and the last day this week, but Les Moody-Mazenod yet to bat, took on Swanview, who put on 280 off 78 overs before that game wrapped up on day one. Bayswater, well, they 7 declared for 249 after 70. Went out there, saw a little bit of that action there. They're up against Forestfield, who probably weren't happy, but they got the declaration, had the changeover, and then Forestfield going out there for about half an hour, facing 12 overs to put on none for 22. SKLP 212 off 37, up against Carlisle, who are in trouble already, on 1 for 7 there. Now, best of the batsmen. I've got to say there's a few fill-ins not getting a mention. We said it from round one, and here we are at the end of the season, and there are still blokes playing under the name Phil in. So if you're a Phil and you did well, I'm sorry, that's your mention right there. All right, best of the batting mentions that will get a mention. Trent Kinley had 65, Rishi Solanki had 61, Alex McFarlane 55, while Wes Morton, also of Bayswater, he had 54. Chris Wollaston at Swanview had 47, Kush Gorsha 45, and I saw his dismissal there. Sorry about the timing there, Kush. Jared Duckett had 44, Tom Atkinson with 42, Nick Scholl with 37, and Uday Kakani with 36, while Tanvir Sharvan of Swanview rounding out the batting mentions there with a 32 to his name. Just 4 bowlers getting a 3 for or more. Luke Stevens, the best of them. He had 4 for 36. Daniel Shoesmith, 4 for 43. Then we come down a pair of threes. Jeff Nesky with 3 for 27, and Josh Francis, 3 for 30. And I can officially say that that Swanview, sorry, I got sweat rolling into my eyeball there. Swanview will have taken out the minor premierships. We'll acknowledge those as we go through the night. They are unassailable there, 3 games clear with only 1 day's play left. So congratulations, Swanview first grade. SKLP and Bayswater battling it out for second. Carlisle will take, or should take, fourth. Les Moody-Mazenod and Forestfield rounding out the table there. Les Moody-Mazenod, well, they need 281 against Swanview, so I suspect Swanview will get the win there. SKLP, I think they could be chasing an outright. You never know. And Bayswater, well, they need a big win versus Forestfield, and for SKLP to fail to try and claim second their home spot. Home final on the line there, up for grabs, but at the moment SKLP just in the driver's seat. All right, let's have a look. Second grade. Actually, with a smile on my face. Yep, let's have a look at second grade. I just thought, did I do that? And yes, I did. In second grade, a big shout out to you all there. Just saw you jumping online. Thanks for joining me. And yes, it is as warm in here as I look. All right, 5th placed University got Allenbrook all out for 272 off 67. Hard fought effort there by University. I just saw myself in the left-hand screen doing the face pat there. SKLP made 192 off 66 in the game against Caversham, while Ascot can only watch on as they have this round off. Now, batting mentions. We always like to know what happens out there, and this week a young player, he was in the studio here a couple of weeks ago, went out in the second grade for Allenbrook and made his maiden ton. I did double check that on Play Cricket, and it does say in 50 odd games. That is his first, so congratulations Josh Bibby, 133 not out off 118 balls, batting at 7. Now bear in mind Allenbrook were all out for 272, so Josh Bibby chipping in with 50% of the score there at 7 in his maiden ton with 13 fours and 7 sixes. Well done, Josh. Nathan Carr had 46 off 122. Pritesh Vasani had 45 off 160. So the flip side of that, the two-day grade showing its value there. Gopal Milan Kumar had 39 to round out the second grade batting mentions. And with the bowling, Liam van der Mosel had 5 for 58 off 17. Good bowling there, Liam. Kamal Kurmi had 4 for 27 off 11. And Lindsay Naddy, always reliable, chipped in with 2 wickets and 2 catches. Didn't quite get 3 of either, so I combined them there for you, Lindsay. And what I didn't mention in the first grade, I'll mention here, no Goldens. It was actually a very good week for no Goldens and a very good week for extras, so well done to all the bowlers out there. Looking at second grade, well, I reckon Allenbrook should be able to keep University to under 273 to seal the minor premiership there. Ascot just get to watch on, and they'll be hoping that Caversham go down so that they can hold second to take the home final. But a Caversham win versus SKLP will mean they get second place. Ascot will drop down to third and lose the hosting rights there. Third grade, let's have a look here. SKLP 184 off 66 against Les Murdy Mazenod. Swan View 2 for 73 off 31 against Bayswater, who could only muster 83 off 38 overs in their innings, and Bayswater needed that, and they haven't lost yet, but I'm going to say they will. Bayswater needed this to hold third spot, so they'll drop down, and in round 1 of the finals will probably end up taking on Swanview. All right, and in the other match, the third match there, Ascot 4 declared for 238 off 55 there, sending University in, who are currently 2 for 17. And again, just a handful of mentions. Kishan Vicaria 54, Hashit Katani with 43, Jag Budia had 30 for SKLP, while Chris Possum Williams had 4 for 26 for Les Murdy Mazenod. Neil Hollister had 34 of Bayswater's 83, and Will Nash doing the damage for Swanview there with 4 for 16. And for Ascot, with their 238, Michael Stevenson with 71, Jason Paletti with 61, and Russell Keegan chipping in with 34. So in the third grade, they haven't got it yet, but they're on the cusp of it. Swanview 20 points ahead on 9 wins. SKLP have 8 wins, and I suspect both will win, so Swanview will get the minor premiership in the first and the third grade. Well done there. They'll be the top 2. Bayswater with 6 wins have 61 points. Ascot are 5th with 5, and they're on 54, while both Les Murdy Mazenod and University just trying to see the season out and finish with a bit of pride, and there's always pride, but finish with a bit of a smile on their face. All right, so let's wrap up the third grade here. An Ascot win will see them take third from Bayswater, as I mentioned. Uni need 222 for less than 8 wickets for their win. Swanview should get the 11 they need to take out the minor premiership. And Les Murdy Mazenod, as I said there, playing for a smile and pride as SKLP. They won't lose. They can't get first and they won't drop to third. So SKLP and Les Murdy Mazenod there, both looking just to try and round out the season safely, I would suggest. Well, before we have our first drinks break, and gosh, I need it in here at the moment, a big shout out. I just mentioned Les Murdy Mazenod, the Kookaburras, and I was around, and I think what was I doing back then? Playing? I wasn't broadcasting. It is the 10-year anniversary for Les Murdy Mazenod's first and second grade premierships, and they're going underway at Ray Owen and Mazenod tomorrow from 1 o'clock, and then back at the club after the games. And I'll check during the break that I'm about to have, see if I've got any messages from the association, because as I said before, those 2-day games, they're underway. They're going to play out as normal, just with extra drinks breaks and the opportunity to call it after the result if the two captains agree. But right now, here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show, you're here with me, Noel Nosey Johnston, thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor. We'll take a quick drinks break here and be back in about 4 minutes' time for a look at the one-dayers and a bit of an update, if I can, on what's going to happen with the rules there. See you in a moment.
We started from the ground in a little studio where dreams could be found, broadcasting echoes of the games we adore. From community hearts we opened the door. Nosey and the crew gathered round the mic, sharing stories of triumph, igniting the hype. Grassroots shining bright in the hottest sassy sun. We became a family united as one. From studio to stardom we took to the sky, promoting the players, letting their spirits fly. Through Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram streams, we brought every moment to life with our dreams. So gather round, friends, let the stories unfold. For in every sport, there's a tale to be told. In Perth, where the sun kisses fields with grace, every local team finding their place, competing like warriors, no battle too small. We celebrate each story, standing proud through it all. With family and friends watching from afar, no matter the distance, we brought them to par. From cricket to footy, every rule and play, with each thrilling moment, we're paving the way. From studio to stardom, we took to the sky, promoting the players, letting their spirits fly. Through Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram streams, we brought every moment to life with our dreams. So gather round, friends, let the stories unfold. For in every sport, there's a tale to be told. International glory, national pride, stories of courage in sports we reside. In this vibrant community, legends arise. With every shared triumph, we reach for the skies. We welcome all sports, let your voices be heard. With passion and teamwork, here's the word. We're the home of the legends, come take your stands. In the game of life, let's all take a chance. Weekend live streams, cricket under the stars, midweek reviews as we chase for the bars. Every cheer and shout echoes through the space. In the heartbeat of Perth, we found our place. So here's to the players and all of the fans. In every direction, we'll be joining hands. The spirit of sports, it's a love that grows. In the field of dreams, our devotion shows. So here's to the journey, to all that we've gained. In the joy of the game, our love never of life in the community's heart will forever thrive. Will forever
G'day everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the Perth Swan Cricket Association review show, proudly sponsored by Intersport Slater Gartrell. For all your sporting needs, no matter what sport you play, whether you're a junior, senior, a veteran, whatever you like, Slater Gartrell Intersport can look after you. Alright, well, let's keep things rolling here, because it's time to have a look at the one-day competitions, as I just mute and hide that. It is time to have a look at the one-days. During the break I said I'd get in touch with the association. If I get a message back, I'll let you know, because as I said with the two-dayers, it is now heat policy officially. You can see me, I'm as red here as the old school shirt we used to have before we had ID Athletic on board. I was very red there. I'm very red here tonight, but you can read what you like into it, because as it says in the comments there, just say g'day in the comments. Let me know that you're watching, because I can see plenty of you online, and that Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher could be yours at the end of the show. Alright, let's get into it. The Vision Decor, not just our sponsor, but proudly supporting the association as well. Vision Decor, one-day A-grade competition, and it was the penultimate round last week, and the top four are officially locked in, and we'll find out who that is in just a moment. But last week's results, Yoko was a strong round, definitely. Yoko and Pilbara 259 off 38. They fell to Dianella 6 for 284 there in a high scoring game. Yoko, I went out to your ground last week and saw it was actually just overrun with everyone that wasn't involved in cricket, so I'm hoping to get out to catch up with Rishi there tomorrow. Scarborough 6 for 192 off 39.4, defeating Coolbinia West Perth 7 for 190 there off 40, so high scoring and close game coming down to the wire. Hawks Punjabi 169 off 38, went down to Helena Valley, who are starting to find a little bit of form at the right time of season. 6 for 171 off 37, while Mount Lawley Inglewood went down to Caversham Dayton, who are also in form at the moment. 8 for 169 to 167 there. Best of the batsmen, well, he got almost 50% of their score. Connor Smith, a standout performance in the A grade, 130 off, or 130 batting at 3, I should say, for the Demons. 12-4, 6 sixes. Good effort there, Connor, backing up a good knock and a mention last week. Jag Singh had 56. Umar Iqbal with 55, Kirk Howes with 50 not out, or as the others that join me in the studio from time to time say, 55 not. Sandeep Prashar had 48, Chiranjeev Panchal 47. Looking down the ladder there, Ash Yadav with 46 not out. Leon Burrows couldn't quite match that, he was out for 46. Kapil Singh with 45. Going backwards here, Dave Washbourne and Rory McFarlane Burrow both with 44. Happy Bopperai 43. It's like a bingo call. Avi Bangu had 41. Hayden Boffey with 40. Then down into the 30s, Daniel Del Preti with 33, and Patrick Parker 30, just sneaking in for the batting mentions, but also had 3 for 62. One Golden Duck, as we have this week left. Golden Duck Award is, it's been close. There's four teams in contention at the moment. Coolbinia, West Perth didn't help their chances. They've added one. And I think I just heard my phone go beep, beep, beep. Manny Singh of Caversham was the best of the bowlers. He had 4 for 37. Pankaj Dal, 3 for 18. Raj Jatana, 3 for 26. Dan Elsgood, 3 for 28. And Shah Khan, 3 for 35. While Jeevanpreet Singh chipping in with 3 catches for Caversham. As I mentioned, the top 4 all locked in. Crusaders, Caversham. Congratulations on the A-grade minor premiership there, unassailable. 3 games clear, 14 and 2. Ahead of Dianella with 11. Then Helena Valley on 10 and Hawks Punjabi on 9. So it really is a middle order question there. Dianella and Helena Valley, will they swap? Well, when you have a look at it, Caversham have a pretty easy, well, actually, I'll just go through them. 1v4, Caversham versus Hawks Punjabi. Top 4 clash there, Hawks Punjabi. Well, if they can get the win, they'll give themselves a chance against Helena Valley, who take on 5th place Mount Lawley Inglewood. Yokine Pilbara up against Scarborough out there at Yokine, and Dianella taking on Coolbinia West Perth at Light Street there. That's a 2v7, so unfortunately I think it will finish as we see there. Caversham, Dianella, Helena Valley and Hawks Punjabi, my call. Alright, B grade. Well, B for blow me down. Glen Forest. They've had a roller coaster season. It hasn't been as successful as they'd like, but with 1 game to go, they got the win there. 4 for 139. Good to see Steve Abbott online. He's automatically, just by saying g'day, gone into the running for that Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher. Thanks. Good to see you there, Steve. Hope you're recovering from your recent surgery. And I'll take the compliment because I feel as red as this non-named soft drink can. All right, let's have a look. Glen Forest, I'm talking about them. 4 for 139 off 36. Beat Southern Rossmoyne all out for 133. Mundaring, a good effort there. 203 off 37 at home. But Hawks Punjabi chased that down 7 for 225. Or had that, I should say, to chase down. West Coast, well, this is an interesting one here now because West Coast, Brabham have hit a wall, I think, and need to find, it's all right to lose 1 before you go into finals, but the races, well, I'm not sure that they're racing anywhere at the moment. They seem to have been stuck in neutral. West Coast, 4 for 102, defeating Brabham all out 101 off 23. And that is after 374 last week. So Brabham really enjoying a roller coaster ride there. Caversham 1 for 169. The Prez online there, defeating Midland 165 in a good scoring game. 40 overs, 4 runs each there. But Caversham just 1 down. Raj Singh 72. Will Maddock 60 not out. He had 82 not out last week, so coming into some good form, Will Maddock, but he'll play no part in the finals. The bloke with the brightest outlook in the competition, Sunny with 50. Kanwar Rocky and Flynn House had 45. And Trav King, you're now in the running, my friend. Good to see you online there. And thanks for saying g'day. Kanwar and Flynn both with 45. Owen Morris of Midland, he had 42 off 29. Kulvinder Danjal with 37, as did Jimmy Singh. And the man who has become a cult figure all on his own, Michael Edo Edwards. There's not a week he's not featuring in our Warriors of the Week. He's a constant performer. 35 not out for Edo. Amila Dharmapriya and Lockie Walter with 35. Reese Whitling with 34 not out. Nitin Sachdeva had 31 not out. And Cargill 31. And Scotty Winter rounding out the batting mentions with 30. And a big shout out to all the Edos. Big shout out to you all over there in Essex. And of course to Stanford Lee Hope, the cricket club the Edos come from. One golden duck, that went to Southern Rossmoyne. Ronan Leonard brought up his life membership at West Coast in his 150th game and did so with a 4 for 27. Armanpreet Bhullar 4 for 48. Jesse Bardsley, as we move into the threefers, 3 for 14. Sean Oates 3 for 18. Jimmy Singh backing up his performance with the bat there with 37 with the bat. He also had 3 for 19. Trent Wilson 3 for 23. Gurjot Singh 3 for 30. Nathan Porter 3 for 32. And Josh Gow of Mundaring chipping in with 3 for 36. Steve Edwards over there at the Wacker. Big shout out to you, Edo. Good to have you online. I love that fact. One day, and I say this with a smile, views, I've actually thought about it. I just need a rich sponsor to give me a couple of $1,000 so that we can get the community sports show up on either the Wacker or Optus stage around the perimeter. Anyway, dare to dream. All right, let's have a look at the minor premierships. Well, despite their consecutive losses, Brabham have taken out the minor premiership, but not in a way that you'd say was with any degree of confidence. They finish, have 14 wins. They're 2 clear of Caversham on 12, and then it is really a case of half a game between Hawks Punjabi and Team Edo's West Coast there. Hawks Punjabi with the draw, so they've got the advantage of 3 points. But looking at the matches this week, Hawks Punjabi taking on Southern Rossmoyne. You'd probably say Hawks Punjabi will get that. Glen Forest taking on Mundaring. This is a battle of the hill. Brabham in the top of the table clash at home taking on Caversham. And then the West Coast Tapirs, new nickname, I believe it's getting some traction at the club, the Tapirs, up against Midland now. Those two sides have had some good battles. West Coast at home against Midland, who are in 5th. They can't make the finals. It will be a tough one, but if West Coast can get up and Hawks Punjabi go down, well, there's a spot, 3rd place up for West Coast, who will then take on 2nd placed Caversham in the following week's first round of finals. So much to get through. All right, C grade. Well, can we mute this bit now here, because this is where my beloved club Middle Swan come into the conversation, and it's not a conversation I want to have. But I'm here as a professional, and it is C grade. Carlisle last week 5 for 231, defeating Forestfield all out 74 from 31. Helena Valley 7 for 190 at Boyer were too good for Middle Swan, 9 for 153. And again, just patchy by Middle Swan. We'll have a look in a moment. Bullsbrook 2 for 141, enough to defeat SKLP 107. And Brabham in C grade following their big brothers all out 146, going down to Caversham 7 for 147. Best of the batsmen, Johnny Coulgis of Carlisle. He had 96 not out off 101, batting at 5 for the Red Dogs. And interestingly, after his recent overseas trip to represent Australia as a keeper, John did not keep. Jacob Edwards, another Edwards. Not sure if there's any relation because Bullsbrook's a long way from West Coast. But Jacob Edwards had 95 not out off 65 batting at 3 for the Bulls. Benny Keeler had 67. Amit Kumar 62. Jeffrey Hammond of Middle Swan 54. And I talk about consistency and performance and partnerships. Jeffrey getting a regular mention at the moment. Randeep Sandhu and Josh Dwayne both with 35, and Middle Swan's keeper Joel Hugo with 32 not out down at the tail there. So the top and the tail doing it for the 78s, and they'll need more than that tomorrow because, as I mentioned, at the top of the one-day competition, all one-day games are, due to heat policy, 25 overs each. Maximum of 5 overs per bowler, so going to have some interesting impacts here, and we'll see that in a moment when we look at the ladder. But first, a shout out to the Golden Ducks, Caversham, SKLP, Forestfield and Middle Swan. We'll get that one out of the way quickly. Raj Bear Senga had 5 for 32. Sammy Friend didn't hurt his chances of All-Star selection with another 4 for to his name, 4 for 10. Sachin Dabra 4 for 27. Raj Kokar had 4 for 39. Brett Cadd for Carlisle 3 for 9. Good effort there, Caddy. Will Bushby Saunders 3 for 17. Brandon Wilson 3 for 43, and he's the only Middle Swan bowler getting a mention there, and the last of the bowlers. And what I heard was that it took us 10 overs to get the first there, so we'll need a bit more of an attack there. Before we forget, can't forget him, he's a good bloke, he's a Carlisle man, he's Josh Thorpe, chipping in with 3 catches in the field. Well done, Thorpe. Alright, Forestfield taking on Middle Swan. Oh, actually, before we get there, ladder. Bullsbrook, almost. They've got 3 fingers on it. 12 wins, 4 losses. Caversham, 11 wins, 5 losses. Bullsbrook, 0.7% ahead. Helena Valley, they won't get the premiership, but they are on 9. And then it's a battle for the 4th position. Carlisle, after Middle Swan's loss last week, getting that finger, an extra finger on it there. They are 4th, and they are 0.04 ahead of Middle Swan on 8, both with 8 there in a battle for 4th. Out will be Brabham, SKLP and Forestfield. Now, realistically, this is a big weekend for the C-grade competition. Forestfield, as I was about to say, taking on Middle Swan there, so Middle Swan should be confident, but as we saw last week, overconfidence and just thinking you're going to belt them out of the park won't get it done. Forestfield, a proud club in their 50th anniversary year, won't be willing to give anything up on their home deck. Helena Valley taking on Carlisle. That's a 3rd versus 4th place there. So Helena Valley, they can be up and down. Carlisle the same. The evenly split match there. That is the match of the round. Caversham taking on SKLP and Bullsbrook taking on Brabham. Those 2 matches should go according to ladder positions, according to me at least. And reality is Carlisle win against Helena Valley and they will be in. If they lose, then it gives Middle Swan a chance, and it'll come down to percentage. And with it being a 25 over each maximum game tomorrow, no time to fluff about, get the job done. Alright, D grade. Not a lot of mentions here, low scores, but that's the way of the game sometimes. Mount Lawley Inglewood, 8 for 153 off 39.4, defeating Darlington 152 off 39.5. So another close game. I love that. Southern Rossmoyne 142 off 35. They lost to Les Murdy Mazenod 7 for 172. Dianella lost at home to City Beach. A big shout out to the City Beach guys. I popped down to Dianella last week and got to meet a few of the people I mentioned at the top. I don't know who half of you are by face, but I mention you all the time, and it was good to catch up. So Dianella went down to City Beach, and Coolbinia 9 for 51 went down to Scarborough 4 for 102 off 20 in reply. Well, Les Murdy Mazenod's Andrew Robertson, he had 80, and the seesaw effect that is life. Darlington's Jared Quinn with 59, Trevor Young with 50, Sean Burris with 45, Matty Butler had 42 not out for Mount Lawley Inglewood, Josh Monaghan and Pardeep Kumar had 37, while James Boakman had 36 not out. And strap in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Golden Ducks in C grade here, not a great D grade I should say. Coolbinia had 1, Dianella had 2. There's Murdy and Darlington both with 1 each there. Bowling mentions, well, Pardeep Kumar, he got a mention up there previously. He's also going to get a mention now for 5 for 22. There he is, Pardeep with his 37. Good effort. Lucas Hagger had 5 for 10 off 5, or 6.5. Kieran Fuchs had 4 for 21. Jordan Brock 4 for 24. And then Joseph Lee 4 for 31. No threefers, just 5s and 4s if you don't mind D grade. City Beach have taken out the minor premiership. City Beach, Green Range there. They're 3 games clear with just 1 game to go, so they've got the minor premiership flag. Scarborough on 1.5 and Mount Lawley 0.04 behind 1.46. Both on 10 wins in a battle for second. Southern Rossmoyne will take 4th. Dianella and Les Murdy, while they'll sit out, they're on 7. Coolbinia, West Perth and Darlington will round out, well, subject to results this week, currently have 4. Match of the day sees Scarborough taking on City Beach, in my opinion there. And City Beach, top of the table clash. I was wondering where they went there. City Beach versus Scarborough. Coolbinia, West Perth taking on Dianella. Les Murdy Mazenod taking on Darlington. And a big one for Mount Lawley Inglewood there, taking on Southern Rossmoyne, who are 4th. So the Southerners with a chance to spoil. Alright, well, speaking of spoiling, in this heat I don't want to spoil, so we'll take just another quick break here, tea break. We'll have a look at the Warriors of the week, and then we'll come back and look at who has taken out the title for Video Moment of the Week as well. You're here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live on the Community Sports Show, thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor for the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Come gather round, it's a brand new week. The games have been played, now let's take a peek. Wickets are falling, cheers rise through the air. Heroes in the making, showing how much they all care. Highlighting legends from every grade. Tales of triumphs, they're never gonna fade. Hey, hey, hear the warriors roar. Hey, celebrating moments. Hey, all Legends come alive, cricket bat swinging, they're ready to thrive. From every club with the glories untold, come join the story, let the magic unfold. Hey, hey, hear the warriors roar, hey, celebrating moments, hey, always giving us more. Hey, hey. Perth Swan cricket, we rise and shine. In the game of our lives, we're doing just fine, 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 fine. With every run scored and each ball that's bowled, a new story is made, it never gets old. We're more than a team, we're a family, we're one. Cricket's our joy, come and join the fun. Hey, hey, hear the warriors roar, celebrating moments, always giving us more. Perth Swan cricket, we rise and shine. In the game of our lives, we're doing just fine, fine, fine. So here's to the teams, and here's to the fun. The community sports show is our #1. Cheers to the players, to every last cheer. Weekly Warriors united, without any fear.
G'day viewers, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. It's a belter. It's stinking hot here in Perth, and the cries for aircon remain unanswered. If there's any sponsors out there would like to donate a aircon unit here for the studio, I'd love to hear from you, because right at the moment I say I need to lose weight. At the moment I'm doing that right before your very eyes here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. And it is me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live thanks to our platinum sponsors ID Athletic and Vision Decor. Well, we just saw the weekly Warriors video. That's been a step up for us this year. Been well received, and at the wind up in 3 weeks time we'll see every single one of the pictures we've seen all season throughout the night, so looking forward to that. I'm working on those videos at the moment, but well done to everyone that got a mention or got a highlight there. Congratulations on your performances. Well done to all those who took the photos and the clubs that shared it and created it. Last week, or this week I should say, we featured 19 different clubs, our best of the season so far, so fantastic effort. Now, we flipped from 19 to 1. There was no broadcast last week, there will be no broadcast this week because I'm out and about on the road, and reality is, we've asked numerous clubs, we've seen your videos, we've asked you to share them. Allenbrook answered the call. They gave us 6. They gave us a 6-pack of treats, and they were all belters. Ian Boxall, Paul Fernie, Adarsh Patel, Darren Chandler and Josh Bibby, all in the video moments of the week contention. And we put it out on Wednesday for viewers to vote, and the winner with 26 votes is congratulations there goes to Josh Bibby, as the video was titled the arms go up in celebration. He tons up, and so too did the umpire's arms. They went up as Josh Bibby brought up his maiden. I mentioned it before, 133 not out. His maiden ton, and that is verified by Play Cricket. So congratulations, Josh. You win, as I lean in discreetly to you win the Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher for this week. However, because we've got a few spare, wouldn't be a party if you didn't go with some friends. And because Alan Brook nominated them all, I have one for each of the videos this week. So Ian Boxall, there's one for you. Paul Fernie, you're the president, no favours, you get him one anyway. Darren Chandler, you just said you're welcome. Well, thanks for sharing. You're welcome to the Joey's voucher there. And Adarsh Patel, congratulations to you all for your work last week. Some good hits. And I love seeing that as I discreetly put those over there on the file to give away to you tomorrow. So expect to see them. Thanks to Joey's Swan Valley Diner for those prizes any time of the day, morning, breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, or dinner. Hot food, cold food, sweet food, savoury food, hot drinks, cold drinks, whatever you like. Glenn and the team at Joey's Swan Valley Diner can look after you, and I cannot recommend them enough. If you can't make it out to Herne Hill, they do Uber. Check it out. And I thoroughly recommend the smoothies, the waffle fries, the pancakes. I've tried them all. Have a go. See you there. Good evening, Michael Edwards, the man, the myth, the one name legend, Edo. He is the share of cricket, as Steve was online before. Wouldn't mind catching up with you, Steve, if you're in the neighbourhood over the next few days and get a spare half an hour. I know Michael can't drive. You get chauffeured around like royalty. Anyway, let's have a look at E-grade. And some roller coasters here. Maylands, well, they're highlighted in green because we're missing the X-Man, unfortunately. Couldn't quite get himself up after last week's efforts. He featured in the Warriors video there. Hard to miss him. He had the full rhinoplasty bandage on. Maylands, well, when I went down there, they were, I won't say cruising, but they were looking comfortable. 1 or 2 for 80 odd. Chasing Swan View's 195 before being all out. 9 for 155. Unlucky there, fellas. Good to meet you all, though. And good to see Will is out and about with his camera. Looking good there. Doing well. All right, Carlo. Not so much. They looked a bit rough there. Could only put on 56 chasing Belmont's 197. Belmont surging towards the finals. Yeah, I am not, my friend. I'm out being Roman Knowlesy. We've heard of Roman Bryan. I'm Roman Knowlesy. Aaron Dean, he had 87, he had 87 off 79, batting at 1 for Swan View. Dylan Self, 58. Will Ho, well, I smile, viewers, because Will he got a Joey's voucher for video moment of the week last week for bringing up a 50. I was down at the DeLacy Reserve there, and he knew he was in his 40s. He was on 47, and he thought he'll chase one. Went for it, trying to bring up a 4 for his 50. Caught. So Will Ho, 47. Manish Shukla with 38. Jasper Syme of Maylands had 36. And Malik Hassan with 32. Now the boss, Paul Fernie, he's got a Joey's voucher, but he got a bag of 6 as well. So the video he got his award for was the 6th of his 6 for 16. Jaden Garlick had 5 for 27. Agam Kumar, 4 for 30. Maylands Lincoln Pugh, probably wondered who I was when I rocked up. He had 4 for 33. Blake Rabby had 3 for 39. Brendan Scott, 3 for 41. DK Dennis Kirshner, 3 for 42. And then for Cavish and Dayton, Ash Munson with 4 catches. Well, we'll see. Cuzzetto, I'm not sure if you heard, but it is 25 overs each tomorrow, not 40. So still waiting on the association. If anyone knows whether the start time for the one-dayers slides back, I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully I'll hear from the association. The boss, Paul Fernie, 6 for 16. Jaden Garlick, good to see him down at Maylands there. Probably not so much if you're a Maylands fan. He had 5 for 27. I did all that, didn't I? And Ash Munson with 4 catches. Welcome to MS and upper middle age. No Golden Ducks. And no wonder it takes an hour and a half. Caversham and Brabham. Well, this will be a question of who's going to be the minor premiers here, because you cannot split them. Caversham and Brabham both on 11 wins, 4 losses and 1 drawn match. So it will be a case of who will take out the minor premiership. Then it's going to be Allenbrook and Belmont. They'll both go through. Maylands, courtesy of that loss last week, they'll drop out. They're on 8, Carlisle on 6, SKLP on 5, and Swanview with 2. And it is 1 p.m. start, according to Sean there, which I'm a little curious about that, but that's a subject for a different day. Thanks, Sean. Because the heat of the afternoon, I did check, will be at 2 o'clock, so we'll be out there. Well, you guys will be. I'll be hiding under the shade or in my car somewhere. We'll be out in the middle of the heat, but that's why we've got the heat policy. All right, matches sees Swanview taking on Carlisle. An opportunity for Swanview just to finish with a smile, as I said before. I was going to film this game, but it's not going to happen because of the heat and because of everything else around. Maylands taking on Belmont. A shout out to both sides who have been big supporters of the show and big contributors as well. So thanks to both of you there. Hopefully next year we can organise something, because I like the cut of your jib, as they say. And I have to say, Joel, good day to you, and good day, Sean. Because you've commented on there, you may not have been aware, but you have now gone into the draw for Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher, which I'll give away at the end of the show. All right. Allenbrook taking on Brabham. That will be a tough one for Allenbrook. Caversham at home against SKLP, and I suspect the minor premiership will go to Caversham just based on ladder positions there. If I'm going to be putting my psychic hat on, that's what I'm going to call. And Joel, just while I get a chance, a big shout out. I had a question from a loyal Kookaburra fan asking why we haven't been at Les Murdy Mazenod this year. With all the groundworks going on, the primary ground being Mazenod College. Hopefully we'll be up there next year. Well, it's not that we don't love you. We absolutely do, and we can't wait to get back up there. Well, F grade. F probably stood for flop in the first game. Southern Rossmoyne, 3 for 87 off 20. That was enough to defeat Ascot, who put on 66 off 29. In a battle for 4th, Yokai and Pilbara convincingly defeating Mount Lawley Inglewood, 4 for 224 off 40 to Mount Lawley's 97 off 34. Dianella, I saw a bit of this game. Dianella 83 lost to Western Wolves, 5 for 206 there. Big shout out to the Western Wolves guys. Brabham in the F grade at least having a win, 234 defeating West Coast 124. Best of the batsmen, Abby Thapper with 75 not out. Jashandeep Buller had 70 not out. Dean Demos of the Wolves had 57. Stewie French had 52. Ishan Patel just snuck over the half-ton line. He had 50. Advait Vadaya with 38. Darshit Patel 37 and 3 for 32. So good effort there. Mahesh Prasad with 36. Sachin he had 33. Bhavik Gajar, that's a new name for us, Bhavik. Welcome to the show. 32. Tanoj Patel and Matt Shintu of West Coast there, rounding out the mentions, both of them with 30. Sorbs, my new mate. Well, he's not really, but I met Dario Sorbello down there at Dianella last week, one of the Wolves, and a fantastic bowling effort by him. There were only two, if you don't include Darshit, who we've already mentioned. Dario with 7 for 24 off his overs, including 4 LBWs. Now, I smile as I say that because I don't know who the umpire was, but I think he's after my record. Can't have that. 2 bowled and a caught and bowled. So 7 wickets, 4 LBs, 2 bowled and a caught and bowled. Fantastic effort there by Dario Sorbello, who didn't get a chance to bat, so he could only show how good he was with the ball. Rachura Paliaguru. I always struggle with your name there, Rachura. Sorry about that. He had 3 for 6 in a great effort with the ball. Dianella, when you only put on 83, 2 golden ducks doesn't help your cause. And as we look at the ladder now, Western Wolves 13, and again, I'm not going to call this yet because they are only a half game. Only a half game ahead of Southern Rossmoyne. Brabham will take 3rd, and then Yokeim Pilbara will take 4th. That will be the top 4. Ascot, Mount Lawley, Inglewood, Dianella and West Coast can only play the role of spoilers this week. Mount Lawley, Inglewood taking on Southern Rossmoyne. Tough one for the Panthers. Yokeim Pilbara at home versus Ascot. Probably a good chance there for the, I'm going to say the Eagles, Yokeim Pilbara, because that's certainly what their image looks like to me. They're taking on Ascot. Dianella versus West Coast. That one, again, about going to the end of the season with a smile on your face and a bit of pride and a bit of hope for next year. Brabham taking on the Wolves, and I forgot to mention while I actually mentioned West Coast there, I just want to acknowledge their B-grade side. They will be playing finals in their first season in the competition. So a great effort there by the West Coasters. And I forgot to say that at B-grade, so there you go. All right, Brabham in the final match. It is 3rd versus 1st. Brabham at home taking on the Western Wolves. And when I say at home, that won't be at the primary school. Check your fixtures, as I had to do last week while driving around. Well, Maylands got ahead of themselves. Couldn't make it 9 straight. 8 was where they finished after they went down to University. 9 for 127. Maylands all out for 126. And that was the last chance for Uni, but it didn't, we'll have a look in a moment, didn't really help them. Helena Valley 96 defeating SKLP 95. Allenbrook 201 for 9 defeating Mundaring 72 from 22. And the Sharks, they had the bye. Troy Bibby had 48, not quite as good as Josh with 133 not out there, but just behind Troy, the Mundaring bowlers, 44 extras, our first mention in the bowling stakes. We had to wait till G grade, so that's a great result, but realistically, Mundaring donating 44 extras there, 36 wides, 5 no balls and a few bits and pieces on the back end of that. Sirajan Devareddy had 38, Jordan Connolly had 34, Yash Patel had 32, and then Sean Saunders had 31, batting at 2 for the Rangers, and a very impressive 6 for 9, giving him a 1.12 economy rate. And as we're looking at the All-Stars over the next, I'm pretty much done. We'll talk about that in a moment. But that sort of performance, is what we've been looking for. Mundaring had the only Goldens, and there were 3 of them. It was only Hayden Blackie batting at 9 out of only 10 batsmen who contributed double figures. He had 26 off 36, 2 4s and a 6 in there, so 14 of the 26 coming from boundaries. Hayden Blackie, well done there, and thoroughly deserving your player of the week at Mundaring last week. I saw that. And they were helped by 14 extras, so Hayden and extras, the top scorers for Mundaring. Chris Smith of Helena Valley, he had 5 for 17. Steve Hall had 4 for 16. Well, as we move into the 3 for Paul Trainer, 3 for 9. Yash Patel with 3 for 11. Suresh Varada, 3 for 17. And Corey Fernandez, 3 for 29. Well, Allenbrook and Maylands in a battle for first place here, but there's 0.7 separating them, and also 3 points on the column, with Allenbrook on 11-2, Maylands 10-3. So Maylands need the win against Scarborough, and that's going to be a hard ask. Scarborough and Helena Valley both on 7 wins and 6 losses. That will mean that is the top 4 despite their win last week. University will miss out because they've got the bye. And then Mundaring and SKLP rounding out the ladder there. This week, the match of the week, I suspect, goes to Maylands, who are travelling down to the coast. It should be a lovely afternoon sea breeze there. Scarborough v Maylands, 3v2. Rangers taking on SKLP, and Mundaring taking on Helena Valley. Now, should the Sharks lose and Helena Valley win, then Helena Valley will actually take 3rd spot. So still a little bit of ladder juggling to go in a few of these grades, a few minor premiers, a few sides battling, and a few battles within the top 4. So plenty to play for tomorrow. And according to my unknown, well, you can see their names, according to the sources online there, starting times will be the normal 1 o'clock, so we'll be out and about for that. All right, H grade. H for not happy. Midland won by forfeit against Carlisle. Allenbrook were all out for 77 off 38 to lose to Glen Forest, 6 for 79 in 24 there, doing it the hard way, Glen Forest, but getting it done. Bayswater 7 for 159, lost to Coolbinia, 4 for 160 off 27. And then City Beach 144 off 38, beating Yoko and Pilbara 129. Oops, sorry about the bang there. Best of the batsmen, well, Masaka Wickramasinghe, he had 68 for Coolbinia West Perth to be the top scorer. And then just 2 other mentions, Prabad Hua with 56 and Jake Codlin with 36, the only other 30-plus mentions with the bat last week. No Golden Ducks though, good. We're, again, wrong time of the year, but good to see we're getting it right. Loads of 20s, lots of 20s across the different games, including Lockie Teakle, who I've got my eye on as part of the current All-Stars lineup. He had 28, batting at 5 and took 3 for 14. Allenbrook had no player in double digits, and as part of their score of 77, 23 of those came from Glen Forest and the extras. Speaking of bowlers, Mike Wahala, he had 4 for 19. Vinod Chowdhury had 4 for 33 and 24 with the bat. Rishi Desai, 3 for 13. And then Jack Rolfe, I should say, 3 catches for Bayswater. City Beach, their 3 games clear on 14. They will take and have taken the minor premiership. Midland on 11 will be second. Coolbinia, West Perth and Bayswater both on 9, with .01 separating them. In a battle for third, Carlisle, Yokai and Glen Forest are out, and unfortunately for Allenbrook, it will be their turn to take the spoon. Speaking of which, they play Carlisle, and I suspect that'll be at Higgins Reserve, so Carlisle v Allenbrook, Midland versus Glen Forest. You'd suspect Midland will get the win there, maintain second spot. City Beach versus Bayswater, 1v4. This is a big one for Bayswater as Coolbinia West Perth take on Yokai and Pilbara down there at Yokai District Open Space. Realistically, Coolbinia you suspect would get the win over Yokai. Yokai though, chance to spoil. Then if Bayswater can actually get the win over City Beach, and we've seen top sides go down, it can be done, then they'll take third. Alright, it is time for our finals drinks break as I just have a quick toggle to my right and check the time. We are on time, and I'm pleased to say it is time for the final drinks break of this edition of the Perth Swan Cricket Association Review Show, proudly brought to you thanks to Intersport Slater Gartrell for all your sporting needs. No matter what sport you play, at what level, Slater Gartrell Intersport can look after you. Pop into their store, Helena Street, Midland, and see all of the stuff they've got. Alright, we'll take a break. I'll be back in just a few moments' time here on the Community Sports Show. You're with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston. See you in a minute.
Our hearts beat loud with a pulse full of pride. Across the Perth Swan region, the spirit's alive. Every swing of a bat, we're ready to thrive. Community's the key, all shapes and all sizes. No matter the grade, we'll take all the prizes. Let's swing for the fences, let's hit every note. With our friends by our side, hear the laughter and hope. From local stories that brighten our days to the world near and far, let's set it ablaze. Here's to the bowlers and all of the bats, the thrill of the chase and those midfield chats. In every grade we shout and we cheer. The PSCA spirit, it's loud and it's clear. The swings and the misses, we've seen them all, but it's the love of the game that makes us stand tall. The Community Sports Show, where we share the tales, all of the highs, the lows, the triumphs and fails. Nosey's in the groove with every shot that we play. In the Perth sunshine, we'll dance every day. Across the Perth Swan, we'll keep making noise. With every match played, we'll celebrate the joys. From the riverbank's beauty to the shores bright and blue, in the heart of Perth, it's the love that we bring. With each swing of the bat, let's make history shine. Perth Swan Cricket, Community Sports Show. Together we shine.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, one and all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or maybe just like here in Perth, it's time to say good night wherever you are across the globe. You're here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live on the Community Sports Show thanks to Intersport Slater Gartrell. It is the Perth Swan Cricket Association Week 19 review show, and we've got just a few grades left to wrap up this week's edition. And Steve Edo, Steve, if you're still online, drop me a message with your singlet size and I will do my best to get out to Hudson Park and catch up with you. Might not be able to understand you, but I'll come and have a chat with you. Sorry, had to say it. Alright, just a couple more things to mention before we have a look at our Golden Duck update, our All Association team updates, and we announced the winner of the Effort of the Week award. We've heard plenty of good performances throughout the show so far tonight. Still a few more to come who will take out the prize pack this week. Oh, speaking of prizes, I've got 7 names in my draw for this Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher. It will be given away if you drop a comment in the chat there. You're in the running, and I've got the names on a piece of paper to my right, and I'll do that before we wrap up the show here tonight. Sorry, I'm just logging back in because I'm also streaming through the association page, which sometimes I don't always see their messages, and I feel bad when I do that, so we'll catch that up. All right, let's have a look at I-grade, although this is another one I don't necessarily think I want to have a look at, but that's what I'm going to do. And it's time to mention, is it really time? Well, Middle Swan, 104, good effort, got the ton, which is more than a few clubs did last week, but it wasn't enough. SKLP, I'm going to cancel that because I'm not sure what I actually just touched. Are you sure I want to leave? Yes, I am sure. Thank you, technology. Caversham, and I've got a second up my sleeve there, so I'm just going to do that and go down to there. And say a big shout out to everyone online. There you are. Caversham, well, the trouble when you have so many players and so many teams, eventually you're going to run out. Caversham forfeited against Mount Lawley Inglewood last week. Coolbinia, 125, lost to Bayswater, 149. And the Western Wolves, 2 for 118 off 20, defeating City Beach, 8 for 114. And as a result, they've secured themselves a home final. And again, we'll have a look at that in just a moment as I smile at what I'm doing here, because sometimes all we can do is smile. All right, cool. I've done all that. Joydeep Sen had, at least I remembered this time, Joydeep Sen had 64 not out off 77, batting at 1 for the Wolves. Carl Blewett had 62 at 1 for the Bulldogs and took 3 for 18 off 7, so well done there, Carl. Aaron Robson had 43, Darren Thompson had 35 not out. Heavy sigh here, a bowling mention, and it is Middle Swan. We gave up 33 there, and we lost by 34, so enough said there. Dipesh Budia and AJ Kang getting a batting mention, sneaking in with 30. A good performance, the best performance for Middle Swan in the I-grade last week. He's only just recently joined the club. Will Blakey with 6 for 27 and 25 at 6. So well done there, Will. Nitesh Kamani, the best of the, or the next best of the bowlers, he had 4 for 16. Those two, the only mentions of the week. Right, SKLP, well, another grade where I'm not prepared to call it yet. Another grade where just 3 points on the ladder separate. SKLP and Western Wolves. Mount Lawley Inglewood on 10 wins. They'll get third. There's no question about that. And fourth will be a battle between Coolbinia West Perth, who are on 0.98, and Middle Swan, who are on 7 wins. So they need the win, and a decent win, because they trail by the 6 points and the 0.1 there. So out definitely City Beach, Bayswater and Caversham. SKLP versus Caversham. And this one here, 2 out of 2, question mark equals spoon. Not sure what that means, so I'm going to let that one through the keeper. Mount Lawley take on Middle Swan at Jack Mann there, and that'll be a tough one. Mount Lawley in third. Middle Swan will need to be in their best form if they're going to get the win there, because Coolbinia West Perth take on Western Wolves at Western Wolves home ground there, so potentially a loss by Coolbinia opens up the door, but they must win against Mount Lawley Inglewood. Bayswater versus City Beach is the other match there, and those two both out of the running, playing for a bit of end of season pride. And with the short 25 over max and captains getting to call it after you pass, no need to go to 20. That could be an early knock-off there. Well, as I said, if Middle Swan win and Coolbinia West Perth lose, it'll come down to percentage for fourth, and that is great fixturing and great competition there by the association. I'm not sure that he could have actually structured it that way, but that's how it's worked out. So a great result for the I grade there. J grade. Our final grade of the week, Les Murdy Mazenod, 144 off 34, defeating Belmont 81 from 25. Ascot, 138 from 38, lost to Forestfield, 5 for 222 in their 40. SKLP, 3 for 83 off 20, defeating Dianella all out 62 off 35, so not even going to 2 runs and over there, Dianella. Swanview, 9 for 164, defeating Bullsbrook all out 49 from 21. At least they got over the 2 mark, but still not really a great score from the H grade of the Bulls. The J grade of the Bulls. Dan Hardingham and Shane Chu both had 54 each for Forestfield. Neil Warden chipped in with 53. Michael Adamson, 47. Starlin Justin is having a bumper month at the moment. He's had 45. James Tomaselli rounding out the batting mentions for the moment. He had 37. Then we go to a bowling lineup. Forestfield, 33 extras. Bullsbrook with 32 was the top scorer for Swanview. So never good when the opposition give you your top score. Shane Watson, while he had a standout performance in Dianella's 62 there, he had 31 of them out of 62, while Dianella had 3 players called Phil, and I'm not going to give them a mention because they batted or bowled, but 3 Golden Ducks to, or 3 Ducks I should say, to the fill-ins for Dianella. Not helping the cause. The Goldens going to Ascot and Les Murdy Mazenod. A fantastic. We saw Dario Sorbello with a 7 for before. Now it's the skipper Daryl Quartermain of Forestfield taking 7 for 14 off his 8 to impact Ascot there. Howard Newitt, he had 4 for 7. Lawrence Hillary, 4 for 20. Big shout out to Lawrence. Hard to take photos of yourself taking wickets, Lawrence. Who are you delegating that job to? And Lawrence expressing his condolences on the post about Uncle Clinton earlier. Vinod Rapalia had 3 for 5 off 3. Lockie Turner, 3 for 9. Luke O'Reilly, 3 for 18. Andrew Walden, 3 for 33. Make sure you say your threes there. Brock Sheriff's had 3 for 35. And in his 250th game for Ascot, Courtney Wilson with 3 for 51. While Mark Clemesha took 4 catches with the gloves for the Belmont side as well. So good effort all round there. Les Mazenod will take the minor premiership, so I'm not sure whether I'll have Weasel and Foxy in the commentary van for the finals. So if you want to commentate finals in a week's time, not tomorrow, but in a week's time, and potentially the grand final as well, I'd love to hear from you. The opportunity could be yours. This week in J grade, rounding out the mentions, Ascot taking on Belmont, Forestfield taking on Les Mazenod, Dianella taking on Swan View at Brown Park there, potentially for the wooden spoon, and I'm not sure why I say that because that's not correct. And Bullsbrook, what I do know is correct. Bullsbrook taking on SKLP, and I know that if SKLP get the win, well, they'll go in ahead of Belmont regardless of what Ascot can do to stop Belmont. That'll be out of their hands. Just like the Golden Ducks, sometimes they're out of your hands. And a season low of just 18 for the round. We've barely mentioned any. D grade had 5, C grade had 4, and 6 grades, fantastic effort. 6 grades with 0. Now, as of right now, there is a clear ladder leader who is out in front. And they've got 1, maybe 2 sides in pursuit. Well, they're not really chasing them, but they'd be hoping that those sides behind them get 1 or 2 because that's going to at least share the award. The winning club with the most Golden Ducks on a pro rata basis, because we can't just do it on cold hard numbers, to break it down to teams. The winning club will be announced at the wind-up. I'm not going to spoil the party and tell you here. You'll have to wait to find out who is behind the duck at the awards night. Speaking of finding out at the awards night, well, what a week. My head hurts. It genuinely hurts. I don't like stats. I don't generally do stats. And Lawrence, that is something we'll have to fix. Because you do plenty of great work taking photos of others. I think we need to get one of you. But speaking of legends and all-stars like Lawrence, it is the All-Star Association All-Stars, the Community Sports Show PSCA Association All-Star team. And a big shout out to Paul Fernie, local loan Allenbrook, who have come on board as a sponsor. What I did, just so there is transparency, because, I tell you, the amount of work involved in this, I did not realise. I probably in the back of my head realised, but didn't give enough credit to the amount of passion out there. So what I did over the course of this week is actually break down the best top 10 bowlers from every grade and the best top 10 batsmen per grade and the top fielders per grade based on wickets, run out, stumpings and catches. So once we had that list, and that was nearly 200 names, once I had that, I went through and broke it down to a top 50 batting, bowling and fielding. Then I looked at it, I took out names, I took out clubs, looked at it anonymously on cold hard numbers. I sent those cold hard numbers with no identifying characteristics to a couple of out of contention, not in the running candidates, and a couple of others, and got their opinions. When they came back, I then created a list of 15 that group of 15 was overlaid on the existing All-Stars team and those who have been in the All-Stars team over the course of this season. Once that was done, I sort of had a team which I have sent to the Perth Swan Cricket Association executive for their feedback, and anonymously to a couple of community peer reviewers, and said, if you were picking a side based on these numbers, what would be your take? I got all that feedback. I've looked at everything. I see the efforts of the week. I've put my lenses and my big gut feel into it. And that team has been submitted to the Perth Swan Cricket Association for their endorsement. And we will find out who is in that team at the wind-up, where they will receive a recognition, and thoroughly deserved recognition it will be. Well, speaking of recognising, we've recognised the video moment of the week. All 5 of the Allen Brook contenders there getting a voucher. It's time for the review show effort of the week. This looks at how they've performed in their grade over the last week. Batting, bowling, tail, top, how you performed, what effort you put in. The winner will take home a $50, let me get one here, a $50 Slater Gartrell Intersport voucher. They'll take home a Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher, and they will take home an exclusive Community Sports Show singlet and bucket hat, the prize valued at over $100, and we thank our sponsors for their continued support to make that happen. And the winner, after consideration, he put on 50% of his side's score. He batted at 7. He anchored his side, and ultimately you could say he got the win. He also got his maiden ton. It is congratulations to Josh Bibby. There's your little prize pack. I'll drop that off tomorrow, Josh. Congratulations to you. A fantastic effort, and a smile on your face on that video said it all. A big moment for you, and well done. All right, well, that's it. Pretty much. That's the end of the show. I've run out of grades. I've run out of awards. I've run out of things to say. So for now, I'll just remind you all, no official broadcast tomorrow. I'll be giving out Josh and other prizes to the winners. I'll be getting around to a few games while I can before the games are over, because in the one days it is literally the I will need to be everywhere by 3 o'clock, because it is a 25 over maximum for each side. Thanks to everyone who joined us. Steve Edo, I want to know what singlet size you are, please, and I'll try and match it, and I'll catch up with you out there at Hudson Park tomorrow, as I will be roaming Knowlesy. I will be at Les Murdy, Mazenod, Ascot, Yokine and Allen Brook, and it would seem I'm adding Hudson Park to the itinerary there. Thanks to you all for joining me wherever you are across the globe, whether it's day, night, morning or afternoon. You've been here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, and I have just one more thing to do. I said I would give away a Joey's voucher to everyone who commented. Actually, I better just add one more name there. Lawrence. I now have 8 names on this piece of paper. You can see them there. Steve Abbott, Travis King, Edo, Steve Edo, Joel Kenworthy. We've got Sean Saunders, Darren Chandler, and our last man there, Lawrence Hillary. Now, this is how I'm going to smile. I'm going to turn the fan off for a moment so the paper stops blowing. It's settled. Oh, it's very quiet in here when that's not on, except when I talk. All right, so I've got my sheet here. I'm going to rotate it a few times. I'm not looking at the opposite direction, rotating, not even sure what direction it's facing. I'm going to bring a pen in like a crane, close my eyes and drop the pen down. Oh dear. Sometimes, viewers, you can only smile at life because it starts season on Monday and I've hit Edo. So Edo, I'll see you at Hudson Park tomorrow. You'll get another one of those so you can take your dad out for some Joey's. I'm just turning the fan back on because I don't have the ability to stand in the heat for too long. Congratulations, Edo. You'll get that. I'll drop that off to you. Thanks to everyone who's been a part of the show tonight. Thanks to Joel and Sean for updating us. It is normal start times, just 25 overs each for the 1 day or so. So wherever you are, please take care out there in the heat. Stay safe. There's been a lot of argy-bargy about, but it's a summer sport, this, that, the other. Health and safety has to come first. So make sure you hydrate. Make sure if you're not fielding that you're in the shade. Or if you're fielding, you can find some shade under a tree somewhere. Wherever you are, please take care, stay safe. As always, be nice to yourself, but in these troubled times, just as importantly, be nice to those around you. On behalf of my missing mate, X-Man, and our co-host club of the week, Maylands, I am Noel Nosey Johnston. Thanks to Vision Decor and ID Athletic, our platinum sponsors, this has been the Slater Gartrell Intersport Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. I'll see you around the grounds tomorrow. Take care.
Tune in every week to the show we adore. From the heart of Perth to the world beyond, let's hear your roar. Perth Swan Cricket, let's make it clear. The community sports show brings us the cheer. Batting, bowling and fielding with flair. Each game is a story for the players out there. Riding the highs, embracing the lows. With passion and pride, that's how this game flows. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Breakdown of the action, listen to the crowd. Cheers for the wicket, oh they're screaming loud. Cricket's not just a game, it's a sight to behold. Stories of legends both young and the old. No matter the grade, we cover it all. With every wicket taken, we rise and we fall. Across the grounds of Perth, we gather and share memories of triumph, skill, and the players' great flair. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing the magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Together we rise, united and strong. With every strap pulled tight, we all sing along. Commentary electric with stories that soar. This week's highlights leave us hungry for more. Catching every moment we live for the fight. Every player's battle, our hearts feel it rise. It's the PSTA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. So tune in each Friday, don't miss the show. For all that's exciting, the hype and the glow. Thanks to the sponsors who believe in the game. Your support and pride have earned you the fame. To Perth and beyond, we're proud to declare the PSCA review show is tops everywhere. With bats and with balls, we're ready